I mean, it goes back to what we're talking about stacking. I mean, why are we buying all this stuff? If we, it's not because we're trying to sell it, buy it and sell it, one day to the next. You're accumulating. And invest, really, that's what investing is. There's a lot of factors at play, but the fundamentals haven't changed.
Silver and gold are headed much, much higher over the coming years, and you do not want to miss out. And you also don't want to miss out on what could be an amazing investment opportunity. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching Yankee Stacking. In this video, I'm going to talk with Rana Vig, the CEO and Director of Blue Lagoon Resources. This is the second time meeting with Rana to talk about silver and gold and about his mining company, Blue Lagoon. And here's a quick disclaimer. I am being compensated for this interview. It's production and the editing and the research I've done on Blue Lagoon. However, I'm not being paid one silver dime to give Blue Lagoon a rubber stamp of approval. In fact, I have a few questions to ask Rana about his company's stock performance. It's been essentially flat since I interviewed him in December. Now, I follow and invest in other junior mining companies who have fared better, like Newfound Gold, which is up 828%, Nevada King Gold jumping 10% just the other day on some news. So what's going on with Blue Lagoon? Today, I'm going to talk with Rana about that. I'm going to ask him straight up what's going on. But we'll also talk about some macroeconomic trends with our economy and specifically what's happening with gold and silver. Welcome, Rana. Thank you so much for joining me again.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, the last time we talked was in December 2020, and I am really excited to get an update on your mineral exploration company. I've been watching Blue Lagoon really closely, and I hope you can share some news with me and my viewers and really bring us up to speed on where you're at. But before we talk about your company, this is a stacking community, right? We love our physical silver and gold. And I think last time I talked with you, I put you on the spot. I said, are you a stacker? Right? and you were. I think I can't remember what you showed me, but it was pretty cool. Do you have any with you right now?
Yeah. Look, I've been buying and accumulating for years, right? In all shapes, all sizes.
Okay.
Different.
Now you're flexing.
Yeah. Coins.
Okay, that's more my speed.
Yeah. I've got just tons of stuff, right?
Very cool.
Gold and silver. I love silver. I mean, I think silver and gold. I mean, people are talking about silver even doing better than gold here. Coming up. Which not only excites me because I own a lot of it in the physical form, but also because we got up at our mine there. We're running a 1-to-4 a gold to silver ratio, so we got a lot of silver up there. So we're excited.
Oh my word! You almost get. I think last time we said you kind of get the silver for free when you're mining that gold, right?
Well, yeah, because typically we when we do our cost analysis, everything, we're really focusing on the gold, and a lot of projects don't necessarily have a lot of silver associated with it. We happen to have a lot, so I'm very excited about it because it's going to pay for all my expenses, and it's really like getting it for free.
That's fantastic. Last time we spoke again in December, I think gold was around $18.27 an ounce. Silver was, I think, $24 an ounce, roughly. The economy was in a stupor. Vaccines hadn't been rolled out. The new U.S. presidential administration was ready to, grab the reins. And hardly anyone was Googling the word inflation. So a lot has happened over the past 6 months, hasn't it?
Well, look, it's I think everything's are out of control. I mean, look at housing, look at lumber. It's gone up 3 times, where it was. But they keep saying, well, we're trying to get inflation to 2%. I don't know. When I go to the store, it feels a lot more than 2%. So I don't know where they get their numbers from. But yeah, look, lots is happening. But on the positive, the vaccines seem to be working. The economy looks like it's opening up. We'll see. But people are ready to spend. There's been a lot of savings happening. People have money to spend, and I think in the next little while we're going to see a massive explosion
Yeah.
which is going to do, in my opinion, very well for our markets in gold and silver as well.
Well, you say inflation with lumber and oil. We're seeing it in commodities everywhere, right?
Food,
Food, just
everything.
food. You're right. But we're not seeing it with precious metals quite yet, right, Reina?
Yeah, well, that's a kind of an anomaly, right? We had this, first, we had the bit of a momentum going, with gold, and then it pulled back, right,
Yeah.
all the way down, below 1700 for a short time, and because of things like Bitcoin and Elon Musk, tweeting things out, and these are just gyrations, of the markets, and you can't really pay too much, get too caught up in that, because if you do, then you're not really an investor, right? I mean, it goes back to what we're talking about stacking. I mean, why are we buying all this stuff? If we, it's not because we're trying to sell it, buy it and sell it, one day to the next. You're accumulating and invest. Really, that's what investing is. Now, there's nothing wrong with trading. If you're a trader, that's fine. That's a whole different,
Right.
set of sort of principles and thought processes. But investing is at best a medium term, and at worst a medium term, and at best a long term strategy. So you've got to kind of hang in there. So gold had its little, and silver a little jab because of Bitcoin suddenly took off, right? Went up to what, almost
Mm-hmm.
65,000, but then it came right back, look, down to 32 or whatever it was, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of factors at play, but the fundamentals haven't changed, right?
No.
There's trillions of dollars of new money. And look at your new president is about to push through, several more trillion
Eight,
dollars.
nine, who knows how much it's going to be. They always seem to underestimate the costs when they give these
Yeah.
projections. But you're right, trillions. Do you believe the Federal Reserve when they say inflation is transitory?
Look, do I believe anything that any of these comes out of the mouths of any of these guys? I mean, it's so unfortunate. I hate to even say something like that. It's so unfortunate. I'm a little bit old school. I mean, what happened to the real people with backbones and people who really had some long-term visions? And
Hmm.
and look, I'm a big boy. Your audience are big boys and gals. And if the right people, honest people told us, look, we're in trouble. We got to buckle up, boys and girls, and we got to make things happen. I think, people will respond. But the problem is every time we turn around, right, this guy's saying this thing, this guy's saying totally the contrary. And, we're not stupid. Or we can see all the self interest that's there. And frankly, I think people are just sick and tired of it. They've tuned out. And it's now every man and woman for themselves, which is really unfortunate. It's really sad. So no, I don't believe a single word that any of these people say.
Well, sometimes I feel like our, the retail investors, the institutional investors, they don't believe the Fed when they say they're not going to taper, they're not going to raise rates. They keep saying that, and it seems like investors, it goes in one ear and comes out the other. They believe the Fed is going to react the way it has in the past. It's going to taper its bond purchases. It's going to respond to this inflationary bubble that we're having right now that could turn into a massive tsunami with raising rates. But I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they can do that.
I totally agree with you. I don't see how that's possible.
So when do investors get a clue and realize we need to be investing in precious metals, gold and silver?
Well, I think that's a you make an interesting point. I think you're right. I think the mass market tends to believe because and perhaps not their fault because look, most people don't have access to research. Most people don't have the depth and understanding of what's required and how to do it. So they turn to the usual sort of suspects, the media, to see which way. And that of course we know how that movie ends, right? I mean,
Right.
we've seen it before. So I think it's a challenging environment for people. But look, it's not that complicated, right? If you dumb it down, it's like when I talk to my kids and I explain to them about some of the basic things, right? Is that it's basically how much are you earning? How much are you spending? Are you in deficit? Are you losing money every single month? You're spending more money than you have. Then at some point, the party's going to stop. The guy that you owe the money to is going to say, "Hey, I want my money back." So, there's a lot of, and of course, I'm really oversimplifying it, but at the crux of the matter, that's really what it is.
You brought up a good point, though. People need to be educated, and a lot of people don't notice things. I just read today that Russia is completely removing the dollar from its wealth fund. They don't want anything to do with the dollar. I don't know if people know that, but that's going to have an impact. What China's doing.
Sure.
Do you expect the dollar to weaken more and more?
Yeah, look, I think the only reason the dollar has even is where it's at still is because there's a lot of fundamental belief around the world that, the America is sort of the beacon, right? The hope that's always there. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody really looks at or doesn't want to believe, maybe they've just buried their head in the sand, how much trouble, unfortunately, not just America, Canada too, how
You're
much
right.
trouble all of us are really because we're just buried in this debt, and these politicians keep putting more and more, piling more and more without a real game plan. Again, I go back to my fundamentals that we're big boys and girls. If we really saw an honest and sincere game plan, I think people would respect and respond to that, but we don't. So I think that no, I think with China sort of emerging and with the influence that the Russians have, etc. I think that the dollar is at some point going to be in more trouble. We've already seen it in the last little while because at some point people's belief has to get shaken, right? They have to say that hey, maybe there is something else that we should be looking at around the world. Which is why, again, people like yourselves and we do, and perhaps your audience, buy the physical metals and then perhaps invest in some of these companies that are exploring or producing these metals because we believe fundamentally that that's what's going to preserve or make us some money.
Good words. Do you believe we're still in a gold and maybe silver super cycle?
I think we're just starting, right? We're just starting. People really, again, I said, right? They look at the short term. All these little look. Nothing goes up forever, right? These are market gyrations. So
Right.
you're gonna have, but what you have to look at is the overall chart,
Mm,
and it's easy enough. Just pull up Google it, pull up a chart, from the '70s to today. Where is gold at? Right? It
right.
started from here and it's gone. Sure, it's gone like this, and it stayed flat for a while. But the overall chart is straight up,
Right.
right?
Yep.
And that's what matters. And yeah, I think we're just at the beginning of this of the commodity super cycle. Look what's happening with copper.
I know.
It's hitting all time highs, and they're talking about it going 3 times higher still.
Wow. You have a copper mine too, don't you?
We do. We have
Yeah.
a well, not mine quite yet, but we have a property right next to it, which is very, very, very promising.
Wonderful.
And we haven't even started touching that yet. So that so we're gonna unlock value there as well very soon.
Last time we talked, Reina, we covered what I call the Yankee quadrant. We talk about management team. We talk about insider ownership. We talk about fundamentals financially with the company and also the properties. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the management team. We talked about it last time. We talked about Bill Cronk, their chief geologist, I think, for over 25
Yep.
years of experience. Really great guy. You have a great team. Also, we talked about your 30 years of experience, launching 5 business ventures, I believe, in the private industry. We're not going to talk about insider ownership either. Although I have to bring up one thing that really was amazing. You purchased an additional million shares in your company. Is that right?
Yeah, look, you gotta believe in what you're doing, and I've had touch wood, very good success. The last 2 companies I took have done extremely well. One's trading at about a $12 billion market cap. The other one just got actually bought out about 2 weeks ago for 2.1 billion. And this is my next focus. Those were in the non-resource sector that I took public, and this one is in the resource sector because I believe we're in the beginning of the super cycle, of the commodity super cycle. And so it just made sense for me to add more to my share position. So I did that a couple months ago.
That's kind of impressive, Rain, I have to admit. But what hasn't been impressive has been your company's stock performance.
Sure.
And I watch many junior mining companies. I've invested in a few. It's done really well so far, but not Blue Lagoon. Why is that, Raina?
Well, it's a great question. No, look, I think there's a number of factors, not the least of which is gold retracted, right? If you look at our chart, you'll see, we were kind of starting to perform from a capital markets perspective.
Hmm.
The stock was starting to move up, and then gold retracted. So people have this, generally they feel, well, why don't we get out of this and put it into something else? But really, fundamentally, look, I'm building a real company. I'm building something, that I believe is very significant. That takes time. So in the last since we spoke, we had a bunch of activity. We had some drilling that happened. We had great results. That took about 2 months.
Saw that.
Because the industry's so busy, the labs are so busy. It took quite a while, but we had the results that had all been announced. Great results we've been hitting, and then there was a lull. There was a lull for a few weeks because it's what they call breakup when all the snow and everything has to melt so that we can really, I mean, we can still work there, but it's just a lot better to let it's generally 3 or 4 weeks. You let everything melt away and then you get back to work again so you can have news flow starting again. This year, unfortunately, it took a lot longer. The snow just wouldn't melt. It's been a lot colder. But you know what? You're going to see, I believe, change, and that's where the buying opportunities come. By the way, which is why I took advantage of that, and I added to my position.
Yeah.
I believe you're going to see that change now because we are going to start. Well, first of all, next week, by the time this comes out, a very important fundamental thing is going to change. And that is that we are going to, there's over 7,000 tons of material sitting in the mine right now. It's been sitting there for years, and we finally got permission to take it out. So in about 2 weeks, when the roads are back to normal and breakup is all complete, we're going to have trucks rolling to the mill. That should yield us over 2,500 ounces of gold. And so that's going to be a significant milestone for our company because it's going to show the audience and our shareholders and our potential shareholders, hey, these guys are actually doing what they said they're going to do and getting closer. So that's going to do a couple of things. One, inject capital back into the company because that is going to, obviously we're going to we should be pouring our first bar of gold, some sort of a doré, sometime at the end of July, early August. I'm very excited about that. Wow. From that material. So that's going to be exciting. And then we're going to start drilling again on June 14th. So just a few days from now, we're going to start drilling. So there's going to be lots of activity and lots of news flow. So I believe that this question that you just asked you're going to have the answer to that just in a few days, and watch how it starts performing, in my opinion.
That's exciting. It really is. And it's also quite rare for a junior to actually be producing like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the envy of a lot of my colleagues because I've got this incredible opportunity that I have. It takes 20 years to get a mining permit in British Columbia. Okay,
Whoa.
so what we have literally is gold. We have a mining permit, we have environmental permits, affluent permits, all in place. So we're very close. We're almost done with all of our amendments. We'll have those done we believe, by the end of next month, by the end of July, and sometime in August we'll submit everything to the ministry, and within 3 to 4 months of that, we expect to get the green light. So I'm fully expecting to make a production decision by the end of this year, if
That's
not earlier.
fantastic. That's the Dome Mountain project.
That's correct.
Yes.
And then of course there's the Big Onion, which is the big copper project. And I'm not in a rush. I'm a very careful and sort of methodical CEO. I like to kind of, copper I think is just beginning. With all this electric car movement, it takes 4 to 5 times more copper in an electric car than a regular car. Okay, that's just one aspect of it. And if your president gets that infrastructure,
Bill passed.
through,
Yep.
which likely is going to, okay, right? Maybe it's a little bit less, but at some point that's going to go through, and that's going to take a lot of copper. Infrastructure takes a lot of copper, and that's just the United States. Other countries have to do the same thing as well. So we have a lot of value that we're going to unlock through our other project as well. So keep a close eye on us. I believe that if you've been on the fence, I think you're going to see some good activity here shortly.
Still zero debt? Is
We've
that
got
right?
no debt. I'm cheap, man. I'm very careful of how I spend our money. So we've got no debt. We've got $5 million in the money warrants. There's a number of people who've been talking to me saying, "Hey, why don't we do take a look at some other avenues to bring some cash in?" So we're going to make some decisions on that. So yeah, we're looking real good.
Awesome. If people want more information, how can they get a hold of you? Rana?
I think the best way is just to go to our website, www.bluelagoonresources.com. There's an email link there. They're happy to reach out to me, and it might take me a day or two, but I always engage with all my shareholders. I love answering questions, so yeah, happy to engage and answer. And you'll always find me very transparent. Whatever I can answer, I can. Sometimes I can't answer certain things because of regulations. If it's undisclosed information, but generally most questions I can answer no problem.
Great. That was an awesome update, Rana. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. And next time I want to see all the stacks that you guys got. I want to see what's going on.
Well, there you have it. Remember, people, this is a speculative play, but it's where some of the big payoffs can come. This summer, they expect to pour their own gold. That's huge. So do your own due diligence. Check them out like I did. Put them on your watch list. Again, if you want more information on Blue Lagoon Resources, it's going to be in the description of my video right down there. And as always, I hope your day is A-OK.